Hi, I'm Patricia Angie Clemente, the leader of Group 2 of Grade 12 St. Andrew. Our research is entitled The Effects of Role Model to the Behavior of the Grade 11 Students of St. Paul College of Bukawi. My group member consists of Aaron Gerati de la Cruz and Aliana Marie and Villaruz to discuss the Chapter 1, Althea Ashley R. Enriquez to discuss the Chapter 3, and Alexandra Lorraine Punzal to discuss the Chapter 4, and yours truly to discuss the Chapter 5.
The study is entitled The Effects of Role Model to the Behavior of the Grade 11 Students of SPCB. Let's start with the background of the study. To give a brief introduction of the study, its main purpose is for the researchers to determine how role models' gender can affect the respondents' behavior, the respondents being the grade 11 students. The statement of the problem are as follows. Main problem. What is the effect of role model to the behavior of the grade 11 students in St. Paul College of Bukawi? The researchers sought answers to the following specific problems. Number 1. What is the profile of the respondents in terms of the following? 1.1 Gender, 1.2 Role model, and 1.3 Department grade. Second question. What type of role model is the most prominent? What type of role model is the least prominent? Number 3. What is the department level of the students in terms of role model? And number 4. Is there a significant difference on the behavior of the students in terms of having role models? Following the statement of the problem, I will be now discussing the conceptual framework. For the conceptual framework, its input is number 1, behavior, and the following are the attributes of the behavior. Number 1, outstanding, with a department range level of 90 to 100. Very satisfactory, with a department grade range of 85 to 89. Satisfactory, with a range of 84 to 80. Fairly satisfactory, with a range of 79 to 75. Did not meet expectation, below 75. Number 2, under input and its attributes. Same gender, opposite gender, both gender, and no role model. Proceeding to the process in the conceptual framework, the researchers used the ECRRS questionnaire designed by R. Chris Prally. And now, for the output, we have finally determined the effects of same and opposite gender role model to the behavior of the grade 11 students of SPCB. Number 1 in our theoretical framework is Albert Bandura's social learning theory. This theory proposes that certain behaviors and actions can be acquired through mere observations. This theory was used in the study to determine how role modeling occurs and how it affects a child's behavior.
So, good day everyone. I'm here to present the continuation of the chapter 1 of our research. Next is attachment theory. In 1958, John Bowlby postulated this theory. He explored the idea of attachment in 1952 along with Mary Ainsworth. Attachment is a profound and lasting relation between one person and another across time and space. This theory says that a clear emotional and physical attachment to at least one primary caregiver is important in the development of children. Children or students may benefit from their primary caregivers and parental involvement in the context of this study. The behavior of children can be attributed to their attachment to their parents. And the strange situation test conducted by Ainsworth in 1978 further stressed that children who were securely attached got upset when separated from their parents. Next is Kelly's covariation model. This model was proposed by Harold Kelly in 1967. This states that through multiple observations, a behavior can be explained. When a person's behavior is seen at all the time, it is probably through a series of observing the doings of others. This theory deals with and related to the study as how students would acquire behaviors with several observations of their surroundings. Parents can do work all the time. Children can see them many times, and children can therefore acquire a new behavior which was learned from their parenting observations. And now I'm going to discuss and present the definition of terms. For role model, in conceptual, role models were described traditionally as adults for whom young people are looking and want to look like. This influences what people do and how they develop, which plays a major role in their lives with good role models. And it serves as an example that inspires children to live meaningful life. For operational, it was measured by using the standardized test, relationship structures, or ECRS questionnaire by R. Chris Fraley. While for the behavior, according to Benitez in 2019, behavior is the way people perform across and reasons behind these actions. Behavior is a complex relationship of three elements, which are actions, cognitions, and emotions. First, action pertains to an activity that can be observed with bare eyes. Cognitions are thoughts that is either verbal or nonverbal, while emotions are caused due to intense mental activity. And these three are connected to each other in forming behaviors, according to Farnsworth in 2019. And it was also described by Honey and Simbaluk in 2013 as any activity that is both observable and measurable. For the operational, this variable was measured through the deportment grade of the grade 11 students in St. Paul College of Bukawe in the third quarter of the academic year 2019 to 2020. And now for the hypothesis. For our null hypothesis, there is no significant difference on the behavior of the students of St. Paul College of Bukawe in terms of role model. While for alternative, there is a significant difference on the behavior of the students of St. Paul College of Bukawe in terms of role model. And now, I'm going to present the significance of the study. And these are the ones who will benefit the study, which are the parents, students, future researchers. For parents, they may be more aware as how to their behaviors affect their child as role models and will benefit on being a good example for their children, despite having a difference or similarity in sex and how their child view their actions, to show their actions at school, or how to show their actions rather. In addition, apart from role modeling, parents can use other forms of Other forms or ways such as reinforcement and in their children. For students, this may help and can be used as a guide when it comes to decision making with or without other people's influence. Even without role models, students may find another ways of shaping their behavior, but they may use it as an inspiration but not fully imitate their actions. While for teachers, this will help this will help them in recognizing the impact of a role model on students' behavior. In addition to being a potential model, teachers can use another way to improve the, the actions and behavior of the student. This can improve or strengthen the relationship between student and teacher, since it can allow the teacher to influence the student positively. And while for future researchers, it may serve as a guide which may discuss the study's limitation, and future researchers might reevaluate, reassess, and expand the theories or models used in the study by the previous researchers. And now for the scope and the limitation. The role models were classified into four. First is same gender role model, opposite gender role model, both gender role model, and no role model. The researchers limited the respondents' role model into their family, specifically their mother or mother-like figure, and father or father-like figure, because the researchers wanted to determine the effects of the members of the family as a potential role models to the behavior that the students are exhibiting. This study included all the grade 11 students of academic year 2019 to 2020 of St. Paul College of Bukawi as the respondents. The researchers presented a standardized test that was based from relationship structures or ECRRS questionnaire by R. Chris Fraley. This measured one of the variables of the study, which is under the role model. The researchers have set limit in determining the attachment if the two role models fell under the same attachment. And since there is a diagram involved, the researchers have decided that if both have fell on the same attachment, whichever is lower in their score will be considered as their potential role model. The behavior of the students was determined through their deportment grade in the third quarter of academic year 2019 to 2020. This was the chosen determinant since the deportment grade summed up how the students behave in school, and the deportment is the overall character and overall being of the student.
I am Althea Ashley R. Enriquez, and I'll be presenting the Chapter 3, Methods and Procedure, which includes the methodological aspect of the study, the instrument that was used by the researchers to measure the variables, how the data was gathered, and the statistical tools that was used to gain accurate data and analysis. design that was used is quasi-experimental because the researchers seek to determine the effect of the role models to the behavior of the grade 11 students of St. Paul College of Bukawi. Grade 11 students were chosen as the respondents of the study because studies have shown that those who are undergoing their adolescence exhibit the behaviors that they learned during their childhood. In order to get the most accurate results, the researchers used the Slovin's formula to determine the sample size, which was computed at 100. The researchers wanted an equal representation of male and female respondents, which led them into adding 2 more respondents and gave them a total of 102 respondents. A standardized test by R. Chris Fraley, the Relationship Structure or ECRRS questionnaire was used to determine the role model of the grade 11 senior high school students. This questionnaire revealed the respondents' attachment to their mother figure and father figure. The potential role model who got the higher result in terms of closeness and dependent type of attachment was automatically assumed as the role model of the student. Then, the researchers proceeded to compare the role model's gender to the gender of the student in order to get the result of same gender role model, opposite gender role model, both gender role model, and no role model at all. Behavior, the researchers used the deportment grade because it represents how the respondents behave in school. The code scale and interpretation of deportment grade was used to interpret the deportment grade. Honors were distributed to the sections of St. Timothy, St. Barnabas, St. Titus, and St. Stephen. The researchers stayed during the whole answering process to ensure that the respondents are answering the questionnaire appropriately. For the statistical tool, the researchers used the following statistical treatments in order to analyze and interpret the data gathered. First, frequency and percentage distribution was used in order to identify the profile of the respondents. Average mean was also used in order to identify the average of the deportment level of the respondents. Lastly, F-test or one-way analysis of variance, ANOVA, was used to test the hypothesis.
I will be discussing the summary of findings supported by our chapter 4. Problem number 1 is that what is the profile of the respondents in terms of gender, role model, and deportment grade? In terms of gender, the table 3 reveals that male and female both have 51 or 50%. That makes the researcher to equally distributed the gender. In terms of role model, the table 4 reveals that same-gender role model is the most prominent type of role model with 39 or 38.24% out of 102 respondents. Lastly, in terms of deportment grade, the table 5 reveals that Very Satisfactory get the highest total among all the deportment level with 59 or 57.84% out of the sample size. While our problem number 2 is that what is the deportment level of the students in terms of role model? As our table 6 reveals, and as I said earlier, among all the deportment level, Very satisfactory is the most prominent one. Students who got 25 or 30.93% have same gender role model, which is also a prominent among all the type of role models. Lastly, our problem number 3. Is there a significant difference on the behavior of the students in terms of having a role models? As our table 8 reveals, there is no significant difference on the behavior of the students in terms of having a role model because our F value is lesser than our F critical value and our P value is greater than the significance level of 0.05, which means that the null hypothesis is accepted.
So I'm here to discuss the Chapter 5, the summary of findings, conclusion, discussions, and recommendations. This chapter summarizes all the findings that the researchers found in the study. In addition, this also includes the related literature that is needed for the study or in support for the study, also the respondents, the research design, and the final conclusions. So let's proceed to problem number 1. Problem number 1. What is the profile of the respondents in terms of gender, role model, and their department grade? In terms of gender, 51 or 50% of the respondents are male and the same with the female. In terms of role model, 39 or 38.24% have the same gender role model, while 33 or 32.35% have opposite gender role model. There are 25 or 24.51% that have both gender role model. Meanwhile, there are 5 or 4.90% who does not have a role model. In terms of department grade, 4 or 33.92% are outstanding, 59 or 57.84 are very satisfactory, 36 or 35.29% are satisfactory. The remaining 3 or 2.94% are fairly satisfactory, while none of the respondents did not meet the expectations. Number 2. What is the department level of the students in terms of role model? 3 or 75% of the students who are outstanding have same gender role model. 1 or 25% of the students who are outstanding have opposite gender role model. 25 or 40.98% of the students who are very satisfactory have same gender role model. 19 or 31.15% of the students who are very satisfactory have opposite gender role model. 14 or 22.95% of the students who get fairly satisfactory have both gender role model, and 3 or 4.92% of the students who are very satisfactory does not have role model. 11 or 32.35% of the students who got satisfactory have same gender role model, and the same with the opposite gender role model. 10 or 29.41% of the students who are satisfactory have both gender as their role model, and 2 or 5.88% of the students who are satisfactory does not have role model. None of the students with same gender role model are fairly satisfactory. 2 or 66.67% of the students who are fairly satisfactory have opposite gender role model. Meanwhile, 1 or 33.33% of the students who are fairly satisfactory have both gender as their role model. None of the students that does not have role models are fairly satisfactory, while none of the students in any role model type did not meet the expectations. Problem number 3. Is there a significant difference on the behavior of the students in terms of role model? With a computed F value of 0.000365, which is lesser than the F critical value of 6.591382, and the P value of 0.99989 greater than the significance level of 0.05, it means that the null hypothesis is accepted. So these are the conclusions that the researchers established while conducting the study. Conclusion number 1. The most prominent type of role model is same-gender role model. Discussion. This was supported by the article written by Mike Klump in 2019 that a person can relate to his or her role model more if they are same gender rather than the opposite because of their relativity to the same gender experiences. This was further proved by table number 4. 39 out of 102 of the respondents have same gender role model. Conclusion number 2. The least prominent type of role model in the grade 11 students is having no role model. This conclusion was supported by an article written by Priya Parul in 2020, which states that it is not necessary to have a role model and the whole idea of it is doubtful because considering someone as the role model means that people tend to imitate the habits of the role model and may lose individuality. Also, people blindly follow the role models and may imitate the negative aspects. This was proved in Table 4 where there are 5 out of 102 respondents that does not have role model. Conclusion number 3. There is no significant difference with the behavior of the grade 11 students in terms of role model. This was supported by the statement of Priya Parul in 2020, which states that role model is not necessary and the idea of it is doubtful because it tends to lose the individuality of an individual and may imitate even the negative effects. This was proved in table number 9, which reveals that there is no significant difference in the student's behavior in terms of role model. Therefore, role models does not have effects on the student's behavior. Since the null hypothesis is accepted, the researchers concluded that there is no significant difference to the behavior of the students in terms of role model. The researchers recommend to look for other factors that could possibly affect the child's behavior. This is also applicable to the teachers since they are in the student's environment. As for the future researchers, they may consider other classifications of role models to know what affects the children more and to look also for other possible factors that could affect the children's behavior.